Good morning, dear students. This is a class for BA Part 2, and we will be reading a poem by William Wordsworth, The Solitary Reaper. Solitary Reaper was actually inspired by a trip taken by William Wordsworth in the company of S.T. Coleridge and his sister Dorothy Wordsworth in 1803. They went to Scotland on an itinerary, and this poem is actually a new kind of poem which Coleridge and Wordsworth decided to write upon. They decided to write on common men and in a very simple language, the language of common men. And this was, you can say, an advent of Romanticism, where common people were considered to be the fitting subject for poetry. This poem is written in blank verse form and it was published in Lyrical Ballads. This poem is a representative poem of Romanticism which was propounded by Wordsworth and Coleridge. If we talk about the poem, we can divide the poem in four parts. The first part sets the scene, that is to say, the poet introduces that he is passing through a highland of Scotland and he sees a girl who is a farmer girl who is reaping as well as singing while doing her work. In the second stanza, he makes a comparison of the song that the girl is singing with two melodious birds, namely nightingale and cuckoo bird. And he highly appreciates the song of the girl in comparison to the birds. The third stanza is an example of romantic suggestiveness. The poet keeps guessing about the theme of the girl's song as she sings in Scottish language, which Wordsworth did not understand then. So he is curious to know, and this curiosity of the poet to know the theme of the poem, theme of the girl's song, brings it as an example of romantic suggestiveness. The fourth stanza tells about the effect of the song on the listeners. And the last two lines describe the soothing effect of the beautiful memory of the song on his thoughts and feelings. Thus, it's a beautiful poem, and let us read the poem line by line. The Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth. Behold her. Behold means see, watch, look. Look her, single in the field. Yawn. Yawn means that. Yawn means that. Solitary. Solitary means lonely. Highland means the people who live on mountains. Lass means girl. So we can say the poet asks the passerby to look at the girl who is all alone in the field. She is a solitary, she is a lonely mountain girl who lives in mountains. What is she doing? Reaping and singing by herself. She is reaping her crop, she is harvesting her crop, as well as she is singing. By herself means she is the only one there. She is by herself means she is lonely. So you can see the loneliness of the girl, the being single in the field is emphasized second time, reaping and singing by herself, and then the poet makes a request to the passerby, to the visitor, stop here or gently pass. Either the passerby should stop there or he should pass gently so that the girl may not be disturbed, so that she should not stop her work, she should not stop her singing. So, in the first stanza, the poet introduces the highland girl who is all alone in the field. She is working, she is reaping her harvest, and she is singing. And the situation in which she is working all alone in the highland fields makes it romantic. You can just feel how a lonely girl is singing as well as reaping her harvest. So it gives you an idea that the girl is actually enjoying her work. It's not tiresome to her. Now we proceed to the second stanza. Alone she cuts and binds the grain. See, this word alone gives you once more the idea of her loneliness. Alone she cuts and binds the grain. Binds means ties. Bandhti hai. The grain. Grain means anaj. So she is cutting her crop and she is binding the grain and sings a melancholy strain. Strain means song. So she is singing a song which is melancholy. You all know melancholy is a literary term. Melancholy means a tone which is, you can say, sad. A tone which makes you pensive. We proceed. Oh, listen. Once again, the poet addresses to the passerby or the viewer of this girl, he requests, oh, listen. Why? This exclamation mark tells you that the poet wants to stand and listen. He wants to focus on the song of the girl. Oh, listen. For means because the vale profound. Profound means deep. Vale means valley, ghati. Profound well. The deep valley is overflowing with the sound. Actually, the girl is singing in such a way that the valley is overflowed with her singing. Now we enter into the third stanza, and in the third stanza, he gives you a picture of nightingale in the Arabian deserts. I read the stanza first and then we will talk about the stanza. It's very beautiful and it is one of the most referred to stanzas in Wordsworth poetry. No nightingale did ever chaunt more welcome notes to weary bands of travellers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. The poet gives you a picture of Arabian deserts, and you can very well imagine deserts are